The following is a special presentation of Extreme E-Speed TV, your new home for everything iRacing and E-Speed.
Welcome back to the dirt track at Charlotte. It is another night of Dirt Track Bank World Finals action here, and it is Wednesday night. That means B mains. We have the B main for the Wing 360s, the Pro Late models, and the 358 modifieds, all before tomorrow's World Final events. Kicking it off here tonight will be our Wing 360. I am Travis Piercefield, joined as usual by John Hine. And John, this is the final night for some of these guys to get into that finals tomorrow night.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, that sense of urgency, and that means some people probably are going to be a little more aggressive than normal. That means some guys are probably going to take some chances they normally won't, because this is it, man. This is the last chance you got to get into that big show tomorrow.
So we've got 25-lap B mains tonight, up to 24 cars on the track. And the top 6 finishers from tonight's B main events will start 19th through 24th in tomorrow's final event. It's been a long week of action as these guys have tried to progress. We had the Super Night last night, and now we are here at the final night. And there's some familiar names here, especially in the 360s, that you would think maybe were in before this Wednesday night, John.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a pretty interesting week. I've seen some guys that are normally way up towards the front. They've had issues, whether it be in their heat race or some of these other qualifying races, and now they're in here and their back's against the wall. But that's good for us, because I think that's going to create some excitement watching those guys work. But it's going to be nerve-wracking for them, though.
It is, as it is their final night to move into those World Finals, John. And they are already out on the front stretch here at Charlotte, and it's time for our starting lineup.
It is, and man, I tell you, these guys, like I said, right now, they got to be a little nervous here, and here we go with that starting lineup. On the pole is going to be the number 16, that's Mike Schultz. To his outside is going to be the number 10, that's Bruce Hilton. In the second row tonight is going to be the number 115 of Cale Smith, and he's next to him will be the 116 of Roger Holland. Gary Taylor is going to start inside row number 3. To his outside will be the Ripper, Lance Ripka. And starting in the fourth row will be the 52 of Zach Neubauer, and the Bass Man, the 747, that's Roger Craig. Starting in the fifth row is going to be the number 11, that's Chad Cote, and next to him is going to be number 2 of Matt Telder. Starting 11th here tonight on the inside of row number 6, that's going to be the number 72 of Zach Chapman. To his outside is going to be Joe Canellis in that number 1. Starting 13th tonight will be the number 77 of Dustin Sargent. Next to him will be Andy Patton. Starting 15th will be number 31 of Brandon Templeton. Next to him will be the number 36 of Barry Goldner. And rounding out your field tonight, starting back there in row number 9, it's going to be Kevin Fry in the 21 and Pat Boyce in the 41.
So that is our starting lineup here for the Wing 360s. Reminder, 6 will transfer to tomorrow's World Finals. And John, tomorrow's starting lineup could be inverted up to the top 6 rows. We will have the official roll for that before our 358B main tonight. That'll be after the Pro Late model, so stay tuned for that, as it looks like our Stephen King Foundation pace truck's pulling on off the track.
Yeah, you got to be real smart here on this first corner. You don't want to have something happen where you get into somebody or get in a wreck and then, you know, really be behind the 8 ball here.
So Schultz and Hilton will lead us to green. Green flag waves. Head into turns 1 and 2 for the first time. It's Schultz able to separate as Smith and Hilton battle for that second position.
Yeah, and this is pretty awesome here to start out. The track has got a lot of tack in it, which means that bottom line, hey, those guys can use it. The guys can use the top line, and you see that, especially back in about mid-pack on back. They're 2 and 3 wide.
Got Gary Taylor. He's currently in the middle there coming out of turn number 4. So tonight going right into B main action without any heats or qualifying session. How does that change your approach, John, with a condensed night like tonight?
Well, for a guy like me, it really get you off kilter. I'm a routine guy. I like, things in order and do things in a certain way every night, especially when it comes to racing. We got trouble. Kevin Fry's up into the wall.
So that will be our first caution of the night. We'll take a look at that replay. Watch that 21 machine down on the inside. And it just looks like 3 cars coming together there, coming off of turn 2, John.
That's exactly it. Open tires, they hooked each other, and both Templeton and Fry went right into the wall there. And good news for them, it's early. They were already towards the back, so I mean, they're still going to have to pass a couple more guys that they've already probably passed, but they're going to have time to try to get themselves back into a transfer position. But to answer your question, finish answering your question, jumping right into a feature, I hate to, you see ball players, you go to a football game, they're out on the field, they're warming up. You go to a baseball game, there's batting practice and they'll come back out and, they'll throw the ball around and warm up. We had practice here right before and warmed up, but for a guy like me, I like the heat races. You're constantly just getting more and more laps, and that's all warm up to me. And having those races not in there, it feels different, and it just messes. At least for me, it messes with me.
It was impressive. A lot of racing throughout the field there to start this 360 B main event. Steve King Foundation pulls on off. So Schultz and now Smith is up into that second spot as they'll come around for our first Mission 22 restart of the night. Schultz brings us to the green flag. Single file here for our second green flag run of this B main event. And back in the pack, they get racy early through 1 and 2. Looking back in the pack, John, that Gary Taylor machine seems to have cars all around him since the drop of the green flag here, the first 5 laps of this B main event.
Yeah, they do. And I'll tell you, though, the leader is coming back up on the 2 guys that had to take a tow, so those guys better have it in gear and praying for a yellow. And, one thing, Travis, that I didn't really think about, but I kind of wonder, some of these guys have not been on the track. They probably could practice on their own and whatnot, but they haven't been on the track and raced since, maybe even Saturday night. There's a handful of guys in here that raced last night in race conditions. I don't know if that would be an advantage or not. I think that it would be.
You would think any repetition and any track time would play in, especially with this quick start here for this B main. Top 6 right now: Schultz, Holland, Smith, Hilton, Ripka, and Kode. As Gary Taylor's in that 7th spot, plenty of room and plenty of cars around that 6th. Gary Taylor gets into the wall.
Yeah, he caught the right rear and he took Zach Chapman out. Both those guys are going to end up on their side, so those are 2 guys that are going to have to tow immediately. The longer they sit there and try to get around, the more they're going to be behind when that green flag comes back out.
So we watched that one live as we're almost 10 laps into this B main event to get us started. It's still Schultz out front. Richard Holland made a move there. He's now in that 2nd position. And Gary Taylor, as we were watching and mentioned, he was 1 spot out of a transfer spot. That caution and contact with the wall there will set him back, and he'll try to make his way up through the field.
Yeah, now being up front, being 1 out, and going to the back, and only having 15 laps now, they click them off fast here. These guys turn 13-second, 14-second laps. Man, that puts you behind the 8 ball. You're going to have to hope for a couple of cautions and some attrition in front of you to, I think, make that kind of ground up. But I would like to give a shout out to Chad Cote, man. He's this is one of those guys that you mentioned that you're probably maybe a little surprised to see in here. I believe he's holding down that final transfer spot in that 6th place, and I've raced around him a lot here the last couple of weeks up in the Renegades, and I think we finished 2nd and 3rd at Knoxville, and I think we finished 5th and 7th at Eldora. So he's been on a little bit of a hot streak here, and probably feeling pretty good. So confidence is a big thing for that number 11 driver.
And he is currently running in that 6th and final transfer spot. He'll try to hold off Neuenberger and Sargent. as we will go back to green this time by. 15 laps to go, 10 laps in. Already got someone at the end of the tail. It looks like Zach Chapman's coming up to the leader quick here in 3 and 4.
Yeah, Zach's gonna hope for a very, very quick caution here. That's what he's praying for. And I would say once the leader gets around you, you almost got to kind of just pull over and let the rest of the field, because you're a lap down at that point. You know, I think Zach's well within his rights to keep it hammered down and try to hold that leader off as long as he can. But man, that's a tough position to roll out of the pits and only be, 50 yards in front of the leader.
Back in the pack, Cody is trying to make a move on that 5th spot. He moves to the inside of Ripka, able to get by. Now the 52 of Neuenberger makes a move as well. He's trying to get into a top 6 transfer spot as they continue to battle off turn number 4.
Yeah, and then now you see him in 3 different lines. You got the 11 there, Cote, going through the middle. You have Neuenberger kind of on the bottom, and now Neuenberger goes up. But we got contact. This brings a caution out. This is gonna. Yep, it did. That is gonna help Mr. Chapman.
So that will help Zach. We saw that one live there. You saw Neuenberger get in that. Joe Canellis as well. That was just behind that 6 transfer spot. Guys really had it set on go. Right before that battle ramped up, John, it was looking very similar to how it did on Sunday night, where if you were in a transfer spot, you almost just rode up around the top and tried to play it safe. Didn't pull out a line. But Code, who was in that 6th spot, he wanted to go and move up, and that opened the door for some others as well.
Yeah, it did. And anytime you start racing for position, you naturally slow down because you're trying to defend or you're trying to pass. So you're probably not running an optimal line. And even though you're probably in a preferred line if you're the guy that's defending, but you're probably, you know that guy is there, so you're probably driving a little bit harder or whatever, and that you can overdrive it or pick the throttle back up too quick, and next thing you know, you got tire spin. All those things can contribute to slow you down a little bit. But that incident between Sargent and Neuberger, that was just a miscommunication on the track. I'm going to bet that Neuberger thought the Sargent was going to stay higher coming out of that corner, and Sargent probably didn't even realize he was there.
So we're down to 10 laps. When we go back to green, we will be at 9. So the numbers get lower and lower here on this B main. Remember, the top 6 will transfer to tomorrow's World Finals.
And we should mention now, Lance Ripka now is the owner of that final ticket to the main show tomorrow.
He has Pat Boyce and Roger Craig behind him. Those will be the 2 trying to chase him down. As we go back to green, Schultz continues to lead. Holland 2nd, Smith in 3rd. Single file restart, so we're clean going into 1 and 2. Speaking of Pat Boyce back in that 7th spot, he's making a move on the 6th spot, and he started 18th, so he has moved up through this field and is now trying to eye a top 6 transfer.
Oh, Cote! We had 2 guys in a transfer position make contact there.
Looks like Ripka and Cote are both now back in the pack. We'll take a look at that.
Yeah, Bruce Hilton. Wow. If I was to surmise a guess here, you got Cote trying to pass Hilton there, and Hilton, instead of washing out to the wall like I'm going to bet Cote was expecting it to, Hilton was trying to keep him pushed down, and they locked in there, and that's going to put Cote on his side too, and that's a tough break for him.
Watching the replay, John, Pat Boyce was side by side with, I believe, Joe Canellis, and they both went into it, and only Pat came out. Pat will come out and currently reside in that 4th spot. So if anyone benefits, it's definitely Pat Boyce, Roger Craig, who now move into transfer spots.
Yeah, and you remember the guy that had a trouble and was almost a lap down? Well, he's right there up on a transfer spot now. He's got a couple cars to go, but he's got a shot at getting in there.
Crazy thing, he was 16th a lap down about two green flag laps ago.
Yep.
Never give up, John. Never give up.
Yep, never give up. And sometimes, like I said, the cautions and the attrition can be your best friend here. And Zach's probably, and the thing about Zach now, and if I'm in his shoes, I'm trying to keep myself calm because right now you feel like you almost hit the lottery. You're back in it. You've got a chance to, transfer here. He's got time to get some work done here. He's just got to keep his feet on the ground and focus and get through these last couple laps and try to get one more spot.
So we'll go back to green here. It's still Schultz, Holland, and Smith, your top three. Pat Boyce now resides in that fourth spot. Roger Craig and Matt Telder, your top six. Out front, they're single file for the top four. You have to go back to Zach Chapman, who's trying to move up into a transfer spot before you see side-by-side action. And he has moved up in front of Telder through 1 and 2. We'll see if he'll be able to hold him off down the backstretch.
Yeah, I think Roger Craig's actually holding him up a little bit. I think if Roger wasn't there, he could clear Telder, but Roger kind of holds him up at the corner entry and a little bit towards the back there.
So this is the battle for that sixth and final transfer spot. That black 72 is the first car out. As now the two of Telder tries to move between Boyce and Craig to improve his position. And now Zach Chapman has a move on the inside of Boyce.
Oh, man, the laps are winding down here, and these guys are going for it.
Zach Chapman.
Yeah, Zach needs to stay on the top. If I'm Zach, I rim ride. I put my foot in it and ride that top.
You've got Chapman, Boyce, and Telder up around the outside. Roger Craig to the inside. 2 laps to go. It's still Schultz out front.
Chapman's making ground now on Roger there for that final transfer spot. He's in front of Roger now.
He'll move past Roger at the line that time. By now he's got Boyce in front of him. As now Roger Craig is the first car out. Final lap. Schultz will win. The transfer spot will go to Pat Boyce, will be 6th. And the 747 of Roger Craig will be the first one out. It was Mike Schultz with the B main win.
Oh, man, poor Roger. But what a battle for that final transfer position. Holy cow.
So your final result, Schultz, Smith, Holland, Telder, Chapman, and Boyce. Boyce, as mentioned, started 18th moving on up. Telder and Chapman both moved up a half a dozen spots into transfer positions as well. So the top 3 will get parked there on the front stretch. We'll wait for our top 3 podium finishers to join us here in the booth.
Tell you what, if we have battles like that for that transfer position in the next 2 races, tonight is going to be a short night, but is it going to be fun to watch.
As the top 3 had a pretty stress-free 25-lap B main there, but everyone from 4th on back got shuffled through, shaken up, and battled till the end. So we will get started here. John, we'll start with our second place finisher, Cal Smith.
Hey, Cal, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, John.
Hey, man, I tell you, what a good race you had here. You're in the show, man. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels good. This was the class I was worried about. We're in, and the other 2. To be honest, this is my first real week of racing sprint cars, so it's been a learning curve, and it's been fun.
Well, if that's the case, man, job well done. Well done. Well, I tell you, what's been the hardest part then for you to get a handle on with these sprint cars? What was your primary car coming into this?
I'm definitely a late model guy for sure, but I can compete pretty well on the 358s. But with these, I mean, it's just a whole new car. I mean, there's so much power. When it slicks off, you really gotta watch what you're doing, and when it's tacky too, you can pretty much, from what I've learned, hammer down. So for me, it's just it was finding where the tacky lines were, and that's kind of where I was running. So.
Well, from one late model guy to another, let the sprint car do the work when you turn into the corner. You do not have to throw it in there. If you even try to throw it in there like you do a late model, you're going to get in trouble.
Remember that, man.
But yeah, because I'm a late model guy too, and I've gone through that transition, so I feel you, man. Well, I tell you, what's your goals, and what are you looking forward to the most tomorrow?
Man, the whole thing, just for the charity for Mission 22, I'm just happy to be a part of it, man. All these guys in here, I've ran a lot of leagues, a lot of different races. These guys are so respectful, so clean, and it tells a lot about these guys just being a part of it too. So, really, it's just being a part of it. But, I also, I'd like to finish well too. I got my teammate in here, Michael Carter. He's already in. Hopefully he does well, and we just want to come out and have a good time.
Well, awesome, man. I wish you the best of luck tomorrow. And real quick, who would you like to give a shout out to for your good finish here tonight?
Yeah, just my team, CTM Motorsports, Michael Carter, Travis Anderson, Sim Coaches, A-Log Projects, Redline Race Designs, Joe at Got Your Six Racing Network, man, and then thank you guys for putting this on. This is great.
Well, like I said, tomorrow night, congratulations on making tomorrow night, should I say, and then I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we can talk to you again some point in time tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely, John. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, man. That's Cale Smith. He moves on to the big show Thursday night.
Also moving on to the big show tomorrow night, our third place finisher, it's Richard Holland. Richard, it's Travis up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
So you come into the B main needing the top 6 to advance. You get up into that top 3, which seemed pretty stress-free compared to what was going on in the back. Kind of walk us through your night here in the B main.
Well, I just got up on the high side and I passed a few cars and it was pretty fast up there and I could hold a pretty steady line. I really didn't have anything for Schultz, but about 8 to go, I pulled my wing back on that last caution a little bit. It started getting really slick, and I knew I probably should have maybe tried another line in 1 and 2, but I thought if I could just hold it on the top, I could at least finish top 6 and make it to tomorrow. So that's kind of what my goal I was shooting at.
We were talking about how you go right into this B main with this format tonight. What does that do for you and your driving style, or how do you prepare for something where you jump right in without really any track time in a racing setting, especially when it's make or go home top 6 finish?
Yeah, it was it kind of messed me up because I had to drive a late model in a modified last night. So the first time I've been back in a sprint car, when I went to practice, the track was slick, and I don't even think I made it out the pits and already spun out. So I had to kind of relearn how to drive the sprint car again a little bit.
Well, it was a great finish, a great third place finish to move on. With an event like this, especially where you're racing all week trying to get to that Thursday night event, what's it mean to you when you finally get locked into the big show?
Oh man, I'm relieved. I thought if there's one class I'd have a shot at locking into or making it to the main event would be the sprint cars. So that was a long, nervous 25 laps. Even though I didn't really feel like I had tons of pressures, from the whole field, but my hands were sweating toward the end. I was just ready to get that one over.
Well, great finish tonight. Is there any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Just the guys that sponsor the Coast2Coast Racing League, August Custom Homes, Castenberry Credit Card Processing.
Well, great run, Richard. We will see you tomorrow night in the World Finals for the 360s. Congratulations on a top 3 finish tonight.
All right, thanks. See you guys in there in that modified.
So now joining us from Cool Ray Victory Lane, John, you have our winner, Mike Schultz.
Yeah, Mike. Hey, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you, bud. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Well, you punched your ticket in. You're going to run tomorrow night. How does it feel?
It's been a long week, so it's good.
Well, and Travis put up or mentioned a little bit earlier, a good point. How was it to come in and go live and race right away? You didn't have heat races, anything. Did that feel any different to you, or is it just, hey, your green flag is a green flag?
I guess the good part for myself was I didn't lock myself in first thing. So I had a couple nights there where I had to go run, but this is the first time where you jumped in and it was already 30% you had to go. So yeah, it was a little different. I knew I just had to try to figure out lines quick because I knew these guys would be coming from the back. A lot of really, really good guys behind me. So I had to try to learn quick and make it work.
Well, tomorrow night, what's going to be your strategy, and then how do you plan to get up front tomorrow?
Don't end up on my roof.
Well, that's a good place to start. How about race strategy? Aggressive early, try to get what you can get early on like the start of the race, or you gonna let the race come to you? I know it's gonna be a little longer of a race than what you just ran now. What are your thoughts on how you approach it?
Honestly, I'm not even sure how many laps it's going to be. I haven't looked that far ahead, but you really just got to be patient. You got to really be patient and just let the racetrack come to you. And these guys like running the top, and I can run the top, but honestly, the bottoms come in pretty good this week too at times, and the run through the middle. So it's just being patient, especially having to start back as far as we're going to start. So be patient and see what happens at the end. Like I said, try to keep it on all four and see where we end up.
Well, Mike, I wish you the absolute best of luck tomorrow. Who would you like to give a shout out to?
I got to say thanks to the Penny and Posse. I hope Mission 22 and stuff makes a good penny off all this. I mean, it's a good charity. And thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast. Roger, yourself, everybody that's in the admin and doing all the fun work and behind the scenes. And look forward to tomorrow.
Well, Mike, like I said, I wish you the best of luck tomorrow. Hopefully we get to talk to you again. Enjoy this. Are you qualified for the big block?
Oh, no. I get to go do this again.
Oh, you got to do it all. As I say, can you take the rest of the night off and have a drink? But we'll see you a little later. Hopefully we'll talk to you one more time here tonight then.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Yep, that's Mike Schultz, our winner, and he's going to be running for the money and the glory and everything for tomorrow night. So we'll see him, but we'll see him a little later before we get to tomorrow night, like you said, in the 358s.
So that will be your top, or three of your top six that transfer on to tomorrow's World Finals. Your top six one more time: it's Schultz, Smith, Holland, Telder, Chapman, and Boyce will transfer on for the 360 sprints here at the dirt track at Charlotte. Of course, the Dirt Track Bank World Finals, all proceeds will benefit Mission 22. So a lot of fun planned for not only the rest of tonight, but also tomorrow. As next up, we will have our Pro Late Model B main coming up. A reminder, before our final race tonight, the 358 Modifieds, we will have our invert dice roll for all three World Finals tonight. So, John, we knock out the 360 wing sprint cars. What's your takeaway as our first B main of the night gets completed here at Charlotte?
It was a wild one. I can't wait to see what the next ones are going to unfold here. We've got a lot of good guys that have a pretty high level sense of urgency, and it produced a good race. I think we're in for a treat for these next two.
Well, with that, we are going to take our break here. We're going to move on to that Pro Late Model Division B main next. You're watching the Dirt Bank World Finals here on Extreme E-Speed TV with the Coast2Coast Racing League. We will be back after this commercial break.
Mission 22 is dedicated to unite the country in the war against veteran suicide. Bringing our veterans home is every American's job. Ambassadors are creating impact in their community across the country. Mission 22 has comprehensive treatment programs for post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury at no cost to veterans. This is an American issue. No matter where you stand, there's a place for your support. Visit mission22.com to learn more.
This October, some of iRacing's best dirt racers come together for one of the biggest A-days ever. All dirt roads lead to Charlotte and the Dirt Track Bank World Finals, presented by the Dirt Alliance. Fixed 360s, Pro Late Models, and small block modifieds collide for 7 action-packed nights in a pursuit of a guaranteed purse of $1,500. 3 champions and an overall world champion will be crowned. Register now for this great event. Go to c2crl.com for more information. The World Finals run from October 21st to the 27th. 100% of registration goes to Mission 22 in their fight to end veteran suicide. A joint effort between the Coast2Coast Racing League, Friday Night Lights, and Dirt Track Bank, a division of Malvern Bank. Don't miss it.
This November, dirt racing's most celebrated stars align in an electrifying spectacle. The World of Outlaws World Finals. All dirt roads lead to Charlotte as the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, World of Outlaws Case Late Models, and Super Dirt Car Series Big Blocks collide. 4 action-packed nights, 3 season champions. Get your tickets now. November 2nd through the 5th at the Dirt Track at Charlotte.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffered from PTSD. In 2013, I did my own life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
Welcome back to the Dirt Track at Charlotte as we move on to our Pro Late Model B main event here at Charlotte. Reminder, the top 6 from tonight will transfer on to tomorrow's World Finals event. We will also have our invert for tomorrow night's race. Up to the top 6 rows could invert for that World Finals event. So we will have that following this Pro Late Model B main. And John, you're a late model guy. Tell us about the late models getting around the dirt track at Charlotte.
Oh, this is such a good track for these cars. You can rim ride, you can go down along the tires and go fast. You can even go through the middle with these. Just all depends on how you use your right foot. But I tell you, these things will put on a good show. And unlike the sprint cars, if these guys get a little close to each other, you don't have those open wheels to hook and, you know, put yourself in the wall. These guys can bounce off each other, and I won't be a bit surprised if we don't see a little bit of that here.
So watching them out on the track now, plenty of laps being made here. We've got 16 cars out there right now. Looking at some of these, you look at Joe Canellis. He just got done out there with the 360. Now he's out here in his late model. Barry Goldner was someone that we watched on Sunday night when I was on air with you, John. He was someone that was racy in some of the series. Looks like he's got to be here in the B main for the late models. And then some of our C2C regulars, you got Bob DeGood in there, Jeff Flaro, GJ Boydell, some of the guys we get to see on a pretty much weekly basis.
Yeah, and there's a few guys in here that are sprint car guys, and there's a few of them that are late model guys. So you've got a pretty interesting mix, and that's going to be interesting to kind of watch unfold. You'd think those late model guys would have a little bit of advantage because the cars drive so different. But I'll tell you, some of these sprint car guys like a Boydell and Bob DeGood and some of these other guys, don't sleep on them, man. They can be quick in these cars too.
So they continue to make laps. We will have the B main for the pro late models here tonight. That's our next step. Of course, following this, we'll have our dice roll invert, and then we'll finish our night up with the 358 modified B main. Of course, all of this action for the Dirt Track Bank World Finals, with all proceeds benefiting Mission 22. So a great cause here, a lot of great racing and a lot of great race car drivers out here on the track all week long, John. But it is time to move on to our pro late model B main, and you have our starting lineup.
I do. On the pole is going to be the number 2. That's going to be Matt Telter. And next to him will be the number 56. That's going to be Randy Shreves. Starting in the inside row number 2 will be the Bass Man. That's going to be Roger Craig. To his outside is going to be the kid out of Ontario. That's going to be Connor Ross. Starting in the 5th position tonight is going to be Bob DeGood. To his outside is going to be Mark Gilbert in the number 76. Billy Roberts in his 99 car will start 7th. Next to him will be the 121 of Mike Davis. Malachi Smith is going to start in 9th in the 013. Next to him will be the number 41 of Pat Boyce. Kevin Fry is going to start 11th in the number 21. Next to him will be the 2-time defending late model champion for C2C. Surprising to see him in here, but that's the 218. That is Kurt Schatzer. Starting 13th is going to be GJ Boydell in the 014. Next to him will be the 200 of Jeff Flaro, and rounding out your field tonight is going to be the number 1 of Joe Canellis, and next to him will be the number 36, Barry Goldner.
So that will be our starting lineup here for the B main for the pro late models. Top 6 advance. Steve King Foundation pace truck moves on off the track. And it's going to be Telder and Shreves leading us to green here at Charlotte. Make their way around 3 and 4 down the front stretch here. Green flag waves. Randy Shreves and Telder side by side going into turn number 1. Already a almost 3-wide battle for that top 6 transfer spot as Bob DeGood tries to move up into the top 6.
Oh, big wreck. Oh, wow. And that's got some big names in that wreck.
So we watched that live through 3 and 4. That's the Mark Gilbert machine. Kurt Schatzer also involved.
Yeah, it started with second place there of Randy Shreves and Roger Craig. It looks like Roger gets a little hot and pushes up right into Shreves and just stacks the entire field up. And man, I tell you, Kurt Schatzer, like what I said, he's our 2-time defending late model champion. That's a problem. But you know what, Travis? Last time we saw some guys get in some early trouble, I think of Zach Chapman being that guy. They came back through the field and snagged a transfer spot.
And we saw that Sunday night, too. If you had some early troubles, you did have opportunities to move back up through the field. Nice thing about this B main here, you're 16 cars deep. So you do have some opportunities, plus you got to expect maybe some other incidences to pop up before we complete this 25-lap B main as well.
Yeah, and I'm looking over Schatzer's car right now, and man, I tell you, it's a double-edged sword. I think he could use a quick repair because his spoiler is pretty well bent up a little bit. Doesn't look like anything else is structurally wrong with it, but that'll probably cost him a little bit of handling. But if you come in and get that fast repair, you're on lap 1. If you have trouble again, it's game over.
Still plenty of time, too, in this, just in case, especially moving up through the field. you're in jeopardy of getting caught up in somebody else's wrongdoings. But for now, we'll go back to green. Our first Mission 22 restart of this Pro Late Model B main. Telder will shoot out front. He's got Shreves behind him to the high side. Roger Craig will slide up into that third position. They're stacked up as the 35 goes around in turn 3.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh, man. They're still wrecking.
Plenty of contact there. We'll take a look at the replay. We watched it. The Ross 35 goes around in turn number 3. It looked like either Roberts was just pushing him down the backstretch, or they maybe got connected there because they were nose to tail going into turn number 3. And John, we haven't made it around through 3 and 4 yet. There's plenty of guys coming into the pits after that caution.
Yeah, I would think so, but yeah, it looked like what happened is Connor tried to go in and cut low, and when he cut low, the back of that car probably got a little bit light and probably broke a little traction, and Billy Roberts just kind of was going straight and a full head of steam, and tough to get around him there. But man, I tell you, some of those other guys just not holding their brakes and everything else, they probably got a lot of damage they didn't need to have. That's a tough break there.
So we will try it again. Up front, it's still Matt Telder with Randy Shreves, Roger Craig, Billy Roberts, and Bob DeGood rounding out your top 6 and the 6 that will currently transfer.
Yeah, and Schatzer, who was 16th at the end of that last, right before that last caution, he just made up a lot of ground.
So Mission 22 restart. Number 2, Telder shoots out front, single file with he and Shreves. Roger Craig continues to use that inside line through 1 and 2, as does Bob DeGood. Billy Roberts is currently back there in 5th up alongside the wall as we go through turns 3 and 4.
And I'm back there, as I say, and I'm back there watching Schatzer, and this is where the dirt late model guys can have an advantage. They know how to run the bottom in these cars. Those sprint car guys who like that top side are up there kind of ripping the lip, but Kurt can go where they're not just because he's got enough laps in this car, and I think we got another wreck on the front stretch.
Caution will come out. Watching a great battle there with Schatzer, Fry, and Gilbert.
Yeah, this is Pat Boyce.
And he's already around there. Had Joe Canales caught up with him.
Yeah, the 121, I'm going to bet, probably didn't realize they were 3 wide and swung out like they were 2 wide. And that moved the 41 up into Canales. And unfortunately for Boyce, he really got the short end of the stick there and got her turned over. But here's a storyline. Like I said earlier, our 2-time defending late model champion wrecked early, first lap, went all the way to the back to 16th. Well, guess what? He is 1 spot out of that transfer spot. He's 7th.
We'll let scoring cycle through here. Kevin Fry was somebody else that got caught up in that one early as well, and he's right behind him in 8th, following him up through the field.
Yeah, you mean Kevin Davis.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kevin Davis. Wrong 21.
Yep. And then just like what I said with Zach a little bit earlier, you have those problems and whatever, and you make all this ground up, and now you can see that transfer to the big show tomorrow. You've got to keep your feet on the ground. You've got to stay calm. You just got to keep a very, business-like approach to it. You can't get excited or try to get it too quickly. Plenty of time left in this race.
Steve King Foundation Pace Truck pulls on off. We'll have another Mission 22 restart here with Matt Telder leading us to green. He's got Randy Shreves behind him still. Bob DeGood now up into that top 3 position. Green flag waves on the field. Single file restart this time. get him stretched out. Bob did good, and Roberts will shoot down to the inside as Roger Craig stays to the outside through 1 and 2 this time. And now Randy Shreves is right behind Telder, looking to make a move for the lead.
Yeah, and Randy's been running these late models a lot more. And Roger Craig, the Bass Man, big problems.
Take a look at the replay. He was following Roberts. Got into Schatzer, got into the 200 of Flaro.
Yeah, Flaro just drove right into the back of him on corner entry there. And then I don't know if Roger was spinning the tires or what, but yeah, that wasn't, you can't put that one on the Bass Man there. That's some bad luck there. So hopefully he can get her fixed. And like I said, we've seen another couple guys, attrition and some cautions fall at the right time. You can get yourself back up there.
And one of those guys that's moved back up, Schatzer, in 5th, gets side slammed there for that one, but keeps it going straight.
Yeah, basically 16th back up to 5th in what, 6 laps? So, those guys that just got into that have time to make some ground.
So our 360 wing sprint cars went by pretty quickly. Some long green flag runs, John. Late models here, not the same story. What do you attribute the troubles here on the track to?
Because I think there's a lot of guys in here that don't run these cars. They're very nuanced. They're different, completely different than the sprint cars. Easy to overcorrect, easy to spin tires. If you don't have the laps in them and it starts to get slick like it is now, you're gonna struggle. The same rules don't apply. It's not like, okay, they're both on dirt, so you hop in one car and it's an easy transition to the other. It's actually a pretty big transition.
Spoken like a late model guy, it sounds like you're saying the late models are harder to drive, John.
Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, I run sprint cars just as much as I probably run the sprint cars probably a little bit more than the late models, and both have their challenges. The sprint cars, when it gets really slick out, it's easier to spin those tires. You're going a lot faster through the corners, right up against the wall. You have, I think, less room for air. But the steering, like I said, it's just kind of nuanced differences here. I think the late models look cooler, but now all the sprint car guys are gonna PM me and say you're crazy. But
this is exactly why I brought this up, John. I knew you would at some point upset the sprint car guys, and that's why I asked the question.
Well, I'm just going with facts. The late models look a lot better than the sprint cars, but we'll get back to racing now.
We did go back to green with a Mission 22 restart. Contact back in the pack. We'll see if that brings out a caution or if we stay green, which we stay green so far. Currently watching Kevin Davis in that 121. He's up to the 4th spot. Behind him, that 99 of Roberts holds down that 6th and final transfer spot. And out front, it's still Telder leading Shreves.
Yeah, and the top 6 have a little bit of a breathing room. It's Flaro now on the outside looking in here. And I tell you, if you're one of those spots, I don't know that you really want to do a whole lot. Just click these laps off and let's get on to tomorrow night would be my attitude. But look, we got a battle for the lead.
Shreves is trying to get a lead. He tried to pull a slide job through 3 and 4 last time. He'll do it again, see if Telder's able to fight back on the inside like last lap. He does, but they were 3 wide at the line, as now Davis is in the party for the lead as well. Oh, and Telder will go around.
Oh, no.
So we're talking about just staying top 6 and riding it to a good finish. The top 3 had a different plan up front, John.
Yeah, they sure did. And oh my goodness, that is a heartbreak. But looking here as they're coming down the straightaway, just not a whole lot of room. They kind of touch a little bit going in the corner, and Telder looks like he tries to slide up, and quite frankly, Shreves was there. And I'll tell you, in these cars, it's tough to when you go in and try to do a slide job. One of the hardest things about doing it in these cars is knowing what that guy on that outside. It's not easy. Even if you run your mirror, it's not easy to see where they are, what kind of run they're getting through the corner or whatever. So if they hit their corner right and get a great bite through the corner and pick up more speed than maybe they had the previous couple of laps, they can surprise you and be there when you move up where you don't expect them. So a tough break there for Telder. And The laps are winding down here, so he's going to need a Hail Mary, I think, to get back in this one.
Well, we will see if he can move back. He will restart 14th with this Mission 22 restart. Now it's Randy Shreves up front. Looking at our top 6 that are safe currently, it's Shreves, Davis, Schatzer, DeGood, Roberts, and Flaro. Gilbert is the first one on the outside looking in. Schatzer still got that spoiler all bent out of shape from that earlier incident, John.
He does, and at this point, if you look through the field, I think Shreves is the only one that's got a clean car. I think everybody's got some stuff wadded up here throughout the field. You'd think we're in a cup race at Martinsville, but I tell you, right now, the guy that I would focus in on is that number 76 at Gilbert. He's the outside looking in. We've got just over 10 laps to go here. His best shot for making a pass is going to be the first couple laps now when we go back green here. See if he can get around Flaro and get a better launch and maybe a better run through turn 1 and 2 or 3 and 4.
Well, Davis and Shreves pick up right where they left off. Battle for the lead as the caution comes out. Looks like it's going to be Kevin Fry and Matt Telder back in the pack, trying to move up through the field. Looks like they were just going for that same piece of property in turn number 3.
Yeah, and I'm going to bet for Kevin's probably not real happy about that. And, that's that sense of urgency. Telder's going in there trying to get all he can get and just drove into the back of Kevin there and turned him over. So tough break for Fry, and I think the laps are winding down. Like I said, those cats are going to need a miracle, I think, to get up there and to get to the transfer spot.
So with that, we will continue on our 6th caution of the night as the Steve King Foundation pace truck has made its way out onto the track. Top 6 remain as they did last restart, so it's still Gilbert on the outside looking in. And Davis tried to pounce quick on Shreves that last restart. We'll see if he tries to do the same this one.
Yeah, I mean, your best opportunity is get a really, really good launch and try to make a move going into 1. And you got to guess where they're going to go and then guess correctly and really be aggressive. But we'll see if he does it again here.
So it'll be 11 laps to go when they take the green. Shreves leads them back to green. Single file all up alongside the wall as they pass the start-finish line. Davis way to the inside. Schatzer down there as well. They're all chasing Shreves down the backstretch.
But Gilbert made that move. He went to the inside there, got a good launch, and got around Flaro right on the start.
And now he's past Roberts as well. He's now behind Bob DeGood, trying to move up into the 4th spot. As now Roberts is in that 6th spot as he tries to hold off Flaro and Ross.
And Connor was a guy that went to the back not too long ago also. He got into some trouble, I think, with the, I think maybe our 2nd caution. So he's working his way back through there.
So Shreves continues to lead. Davis got into the wall that time through 3 and 4. As Roberts continues to hold on to that 6th and final transfer spot.
Oh, we got Bob DeGood around. Wow, another guy that's in a transfer spot. Oh man, oh man, oh man.
It looked like Gilbert had gotten into the back of him going into 1 and 2.
Yeah. It looked like Bob might have been a little indecisive about which lane he was going to go into the corner there, and Gilbert just drove in and was committed and got into the back of him and turned him around there. And that's, like I said, that's another guy that was in a transfer spot gone, That's just heartbreaking.
So our our 7th caution of the night. We'll have another Mission 22 restart.
And that's going to put GJ Boydell in that final transfer spot with Connor Ross now looking right out to his outside. I'll tell you, Matt Telder is working his way back up. He's not too many places out of that top 5, but he's going to have to make very, very quick work of about 5 guys to get there. But, man, I'm telling you, I'm looking at the back of his car. It doesn't even, he barely looks like he's got even a spoiler left.
It does not at all look like he has a spoiler left. Looks like he backed her into the wall.
Yeah.
So Randy Shreves will lead us back to green here with a Mission 22 restart. He's got Kevin Davis right behind him. We've seen Kevin try to make a move early in these restarts. And then Kurt Schatzer right behind them in 3rd with Gilbert in 4th as the green flag waves. Good start for Davis as he follows Shreves. He'll jump to the inside through 1 and 2.
Oh, and Connor's going to have a massive run down the back stretch on GJ Boydell. Boydell went low, and Connor went up high and just let her eat. Oh, but Roberts moved up and just broke Connor's momentum.
Connor now shoots the gap through 1 and 2. He's got Roberts to his outside, Gilbert to his front, and Boydell to his inside. He's able to get past Roberts going into 3 and 4, as now he looks to the inside of Gilbert.
Yeah, if he can get back up top, which that's what he did, that's where he was lightning quick on that start through 1 and 2.
So Shreve still runs out front. Boydell now to the inside. Boydell's in 5th. As Gilbert continues to try to advance his position, he'll move up to 4th to the outside of Boydell.
Yeah, and Connor's, like I said, he had trouble earlier in the race, so what a good comeback for him, and that young man's getting closer to punching his ticket here.
Shreves continues to hold off Davis. 2 laps to go. Boydell's in that 6th and final spot. The top 6 have separated as Roberts has fallen back. Shreves will take the white flag here in the B main. Davis gives it a look to the outside. Nothing there. They'll move down into turns number 3 and 4 for the final time. And the B main for the Pro Late Models will go to Randy Shreves, Davis, Schatzer, your top 3, Gilbert, Ross, and Boydell, your final 6 that will transfer to tomorrow's World Finals.
That one was a little rough one, but we got there, and some good battles for the transfer spot in the lead here. So, I mean, yeah, we had some caution, but pretty good racing here for what was on the line.
Matt Telder ends up 9th too, John. So he did make his way about halfway back up through the field. Just needed a few more laps. So we will interview the top 3. It's Randy Shreves, Kevin Davis, Kurt Schatzer, your podium finishers here in the B main for the Pro Late Models. And we're 2 for 2, John, with battles for the transfer spot late in these B main events. And it looks like we've got our 3rd place finisher. It's going to be Kurt Schatzer.
Yeah, Kurt, this is John. You got a copy?
Yeah, I hear you, John. Hello?
Hey, Kurt Schatzer, I'm sorry, this is John. You got a copy?
Yeah, I hear you. You got me?
Yep, now I got you.
All right.
Well, bud, the first thing I've got to ask you is, what on earth was going through your mind lap 1 incident back of the pack?
Oh man, I was just glad it was early enough. I was thinking about going in, but I thought maybe I'd save it. Maybe I might need it a little later, and I just slowly started getting through the field where I thought, well, I got to stay out now. But yeah, I thought it was a rough one there.
Yeah, I was looking over your car and I was commenting to Travis. I was like, well, okay, he's got looks like mostly cosmetic work, rumpled up here. And man, that had to be a gut wrenching decision to have to come down because, okay, it's lap one. If you take your fast repair and something else happens, it's game over. But you probably felt like you probably hit things pretty hard enough that it probably was warranted. How did you come to the decision not to go out and do that or stay out there, should I say?
Well, I figured I might need that fast repair later on, so I was far enough back, and I figured if I get caught up later, I might use it. It was a long enough race, and I stayed out, and I just started moving up through the field there, where I had to stay out. I had no choice.
Well, looking forward now to tomorrow. You're going to be starting a little further back, but it's a much longer race. I think it's a 75 lap race tomorrow. What are your thoughts and what is kind of going to be your strategy? I've talked you up all night, two-time defending late model champion. You got some pressure. Even though you're back, you got to be considered one of the favorites. How are you going to get it done?
Just patience. I just got to keep trying to tell myself it's a long race, and yeah, it's a long one. There's lots of opportunities for guys to make a mistake, and for just don't screw the car up.
Well, fair enough, Kurt, man. It's good to see you make the show. Good to see a late model guy into the show. So I make no bones. I try to pull for the late model guys. So it's probably very unprofessional of me, but it is what it is. But man, I tell you, good luck tomorrow. And who would you like to give a shout out to?
Well, the sponsors, Dirt Track Bank, they do a lot to help the team, the league. Got Your Six Racing Network, VMR Wraps. You guys up in the broadcast, you guys put in a lot of time for all this. Roger Preston giving us a place to race, and the Mission 22 and everybody that sponsored this charity event and all that deal.
Well, awesome. I'm going to ask you one more question. I'm going to put you on the spot, but what's a better looking race car, the sprint car or the late model?
Oh, late models, hands down.
There you go. With that, hop on out, man, and
yeah, I gotta catch my breath. I think I was holding my breath for all them green flag laps.
Yeah, I bet you were, man. And good luck tomorrow, man.
All right, thank you. Later.
Yep, that's Kurt Schatzer. He's just punched his ticket to the main event tomorrow on the Pro Late Models.
Now joining us from the top three, our second place finisher, Kevin Davis. Kevin, we saw it get racy up there, especially between you, Shreves, and Matt Telder there. Could you kind of walk us through that battle midway through the race?
Yeah, unfortunate that stinks that they got contact. I was very fortunate to find a line down there on the bottom and make it work to come up through the field. My goal tonight was definitely not to try to race for the win. My goal was purposely to get near the front in a transfer slot and run away as fast as I could from the carnage behind.
So with that being said, it seemed like each restart you tried to pounce on Shreves quick to try to make a move for the lead. Was that kind of what was happening, or was that just kind of how the momentum of your car was pulling you up there and giving you that opportunity?
Well, honestly, a couple of laps, yeah, I had thought about passing him, but he had really good pace, and we were pulling the field. And a couple of times, it just happened that we ran into the same corner, same line. My goal, honestly, once I figured out where he was going, it was I'm going to run opposite of him because, I'm not going to be the fastest up here, but I'm gaining more speed up here later in the race on the top in 1 and 2, and I'll lose the speed in 3 and 4. But you know what? We'll stay somewhat in line, and my goal is let's go together. Let's just get as far away from the field as possible. I'm not even worried about winning this B main. I just want to be in the show.
So you started outside the top 6 to start this B main. You end up racing up in there, getting a great second place finish. What's it mean to you to make that World Finals tomorrow night?
Dude, after last night, my heart's pounding. I'm excited. Last night, I'm very fortunate. We've got a team provisional for the other 2 divisions, so I will make those A mains. But man, if that wasn't a big hit to the pride last night, I've put myself in some of those positions, but man, if the luck it's just been terrible, and I've been unfortunate to be right there out of a transfer spot, and it hurt. I mean, I wish we could have raced our way into all 3 divisions. Very thankful of Venom Racing for providing a sponsorship and getting us provisional. But tonight, it turned things around. Definitely in a better mindset and mood and excited about getting into the race this way.
Well, it was a great finish tonight, Kevin. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to shout out the Downrange Transport. They provide us with our sim rig and the software and everything, all our DLC, and being able to do this and pay for everything for us. And I want to thank the guys at Venom Racing, a bunch of great guys. Not everybody could make it this week to run the event with us. There's 4 of us that were running this week, and we've had a blast, and we appreciate everybody in the league putting it on. It's been a great time. I want to another shout out to my buddy with his Twitch TV, Havika Musashi. Go give him a shout out over on Twitch. And Magnum Race Designs. Brian does a heck of a job making sure that I've got a great looking car on all my cars, and I'm excited about what we can cook up for 2023. But hopefully we'll have some nice new looking wrap next year.
Well, that is your second place finisher. That's Kevin Davis. We'll now throw it over to Cool Ray Victory Lane. John's got your winner, Randy Shreves.
Hey, Randy, this is John. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, John.
Well, bud, you've got a ticket in. You're going to race tomorrow night in the late model. How does that feel?
It's definitely feels good to get myself actually raced in. Even if I didn't make it tonight, I still had a provisional. But yeah, I definitely feel a lot better for racing my way in.
Well, let me ask you this. You had some pressure there for a little while from Kevin Davis and a couple other guys, I think. How hard were you going to fight for that lead, or was you ever given a thought of, you know what, I just want to get to the end? Someone, if you want it that bad, you can have it.
Well, I thought about that. Well, me and Matt were, kind of going back and forth there at the beginning, and I don't know, we were throwing slide jobs back and forth, and unfortunately, he caught the bad end of the stick there, and kind of got a little sideways in front of me. I didn't have anywhere to go, so I kind of turned him, and after that, it was just kind of rip the top until the top went away, and I noticed Kevin, he was coming down there on the bottom, so I knew on that next restart I had to get down there on the bottom, so I ran that the rest of the night, and it paid off.
Well, let's focus now on tomorrow night. We got 75 laps, much longer race than anything you've done this week. What is your thoughts on a race like that? What is your strategy to get up there and try to get a win in that?
Mainly just be patient. It's gonna be a big race. A lot of guys in it. A lot of good guys. So just mainly probably just a lot of patience and don't crash. Don't get that wall.
Well, 10-4, man, and I tell you, congratulations tonight. We'll look forward to seeing what you can do tomorrow night. Who would you like to give a shout out to?
For sure, definitely want to thank everybody at LGR Motorsports, Alex Berger on ABR Setup Shop, Redline Race Designs, One Wish Foundation, Wraps and Stitches, KSB Builder, Finish Line Repair, Coast to Coast for putting this on, Mission 22, the Dirt Track Bank, just everybody, Extreme E-Speed TV, and everybody for watching.
Well, man, thank you very much. And I tell you what, you go back, you can watch it. You'll probably be on the edge of your seat, even though you know what happens, and probably relive some of the nervous feelings you probably felt through that race. But congratulations again. I wish you the best of luck tomorrow, and hopefully we'll talk to you again.
Thanks, John.
Yep. That's Randy Shreves, our winner in our Pro Late Models here tonight, and going to run tomorrow for the big event.
And with that, our Dirt Track Bank World Finals Wednesday night B mains will move on to our 358 modified here. Reminder, the Dirt Track Bank World Finals, all proceeds benefiting Mission 22. Also, the Dirt Track Bank, a huge partner of the event this week, all week long. Dirt Track Bank is banking on the high banks. Even without bricks and mortar, our online bank is for the racer, the fan, the curious, or anyone who wants to be a part of something cool. Jay Burdick, president of Melbourne Bank, has developed an online bank to support his passion for dirt track racing and to give everyone associated with the world of dirt track racing a bank they can call their own. Take some hot laps and learn more about Dirt Track Bank today. John, we move on from the Pro Late Models to the 358 Modifieds. What's your expectations as we move on to our final part of the program tonight?
Well, I think look for a wild time and some good racing. I think that's what we're going to see in this next one. It's the last chance for some of these guys now. It's the last race. Boy, that sense of urgency is going to be sky high.
Well, with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, our final one of the evening. When we come back, we will have the dice roll for the invert for the World Finals tomorrow, done by Roger Craig. But you are currently watching the Dirt Track Bank World Finals B Main Wednesday night. We will see you here shortly.
Mission 22 is dedicated to unite the country in the war against veteran suicide. Bringing our veterans home is every American's job. Ambassadors are creating impact in their community across the country. Mission 22 has comprehensive treatment programs for post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury at no cost to veterans. This is an American issue. No matter where you stand, there's a place for your support. Visit mission22.com to learn more.
This October, some of iRacing's best dirt racers come together for one of the biggest A-days ever. All dirt roads lead to Charlotte and the Dirt Track Bank World Finals, presented by the Dirt Alliance. Fixed 360s, Pro Late models, and small block modifieds collide for 7 action-packed nights in a pursuit of a guaranteed purse of $1,500. 3 champions and an overall world champion will be crowned. Register now for this great event. Go to c2crl.com for more information. The World Finals run from October 21st to the 27th. 100% of registration goes to Mission 22 in their fight to end veteran suicide. A joint effort between the Coast2Coast Racing League, Friday Night Lights, and Dirt Track Bank, a division of Malvern Bank. Don't miss it.
This November, dirt racing's most celebrated stars align in an electrifying spectacle. The World of Outlaws World Finals. All dirt roads lead to Charlotte as the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, World of Outlaws Case Late Models, and Super Dirt Car Series Big Blocks collide. 4 action-packed nights, 3 season champions. Get your tickets now. November 2nd through the 5th at the Dirt Track at Charlotte.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffered from PTSD. In 2013, I ended my own life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
And we are back at the dirt track at Charlotte. It is Wednesday night, B-Main night here at the Dirt Track Bank World Finals. We've knocked out the 360 wing sprints. We've now done the pro late models. We're about to move on to the 358 modifieds, John. But with 2 races down, there is definitely a sense of urgency in getting into that transfer spot to advance to tomorrow night's race.
Yeah, there sure is. And, it's such a fun event and a cool event. And we've got some things on tap for tomorrow, some really cool things that we're going to do. You want to be a part of it, this is your one last shot to get in here. And a lot of these guys, looking down at this list for in this race here tonight, I think a lot of these guys are already in maybe a different division maybe. And some of them aren't. And I would think the guys that haven't got in any of the divisions yet, those are the guys whose their heart rates are in their throat. They're nervous right now.
Looking at this field, is there anyone in here that you think, one, maybe you're surprised that they're here, 2, you expect them to be a contender for not only a top 6 transfer spot but a win?
Yeah, to look at the top 2 guys in practice right now. Those are we've talked all night about sprint car guys, late model guys. Well, Vitali is what I would probably deem as a modified guy. He's in here, and I think that's a surprise. Steven Spies, who is a late model guy, but Steven's pretty fast in about anything he gets into, and it's kind of a surprise to see him. I think he won the C feature last night to get the spot in this one. But yeah, looking down to Jeff Barker, there's another modified guy. Really surprised to see him in here, but I'm sure. Oh, got a sneeze there, but I'm sure those guys have plans to probably get to the front pretty quickly and get one of those transfer spots.
So top 6 tonight will transfer on to tomorrow's World Finals event. Speaking of tomorrow's World Finals event, there's going to be a possible invert. Up to the top 6 rows could be inverted. And earlier today, Roger Craig of the Coast2Coast Racing League completed that invert dice roll. We're going to throw it over to Roger and see what the shape of that front 6 rows looks like for tomorrow night.
It is now time to determine the start of the first 6 rows and how the inversion will be affected by the dice roll. Let's get it on. Okay, here we go. This is the dice roll to determine the invert for the finals. So the 6 people that qualified from Friday and Saturday, we will determine how many rows we invert. 1 would be no inversion. 6 would be inverting all 6 rows. A 3 would be inverting 3 rows, etc. Here we go. This is for sprint cars. It's going to stand straight up. Okay, now, second roll for the Pro Lates. Straight up. It's almost a waste of time here. Okay, last but not least, the 358s. 5-row inversion. So there you have it, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and good luck to everybody.
So, John, the 360 sprint cars will stay as is. The Pro Late models will stay as is. Now, the 358 modifies, there was a 5, so that means that front 5 are going to invert, and you're going to have Jordan LaFon and Kurt Schatzer starting from that front row, shuffling off Hauser and Goldner. Goldner is in this, Goldner we just saw earlier. He's also in the 360 race. So what does that do when you, when maybe you had a front row starting spot and all of a sudden an invert comes up, throws you back a little bit further back in the pack?
Well, for me, in my mind, it doesn't change anything. 75 laps is a long race. You start up on the front row. I mean, yeah, you have a clean track in front of you, but eventually you're going to get into traffic and track. 75 laps is a lot of laps around here, and that's going to put the track, it's going to get beat up pretty good. So, you just got to be smart. And so I don't know that I personally would do anything different. You just got to keep it off the wall, keep it off the grass, keep it off the other guys, and hopefully at the end you're in a position to either win the thing or try to go for the win.
So the 358 continues some hot lap practice here before our B main event, which it looks like we are going to get moving on to here. 14 cars will line up. Top 6 will transfer 25 laps here in this 358 B main, John. And you've got our starting lineup.
I do. On the front row is going to be the number 200, Jeff Flero. Next to him will be the number 36 of Barry Goldner. Starting in the second row will be the 52 is Zach Neubauer. Next to him will be the 35 of Connor Ross. Starting in fifth is going to be the 513 of Jeff Barker. Next to him is going to be the 014 of the Ironman. That's Greg Boydell. Mike Vitale is going to bring his 213 in and start in seventh position. Starting next to him is the 125. It's the Ripper, Lance Ripka. He's going to start eighth. Ninth is going to be our defending Renegade Sprint champion. That's the 39 of Patrick Spangler. Next to him is going to be the double nickel there. That's a 55. That's Steven Spies. We like to call him Captain Kerfuffle. But starting 11th is going to be Billy Roberts. Next to him will be the Richard Holland in his 116. And the final row here for this one is going to be the number 1 of Joe Canellis. Starting to his outside will be the number 76. That's Mark Gilbert.
So Steve King Foundation Pace Truck will make his way around. During that dice roll, John, we got a preview of the truck tomorrow done by VMR Reps. It's got all the sponsors. It's got the event logo on it. That's going to be a part of our pre-race program tomorrow. Should be another special part of tomorrow night's program and fun.
Yeah, Nick does such a great job over there. And what's really cool about it, I'm going to be driving the pace car tomorrow. So I'll be in that truck leading them to the green.
So John Hine will be in the front at some point tomorrow night for the World Finals. So it's going to be Flero Goldner leading us to green, 25 laps. 6 will transfer on to tomorrow night's World Finals. Green flag comes out here for the 358s. They're side by side going through 1 and 2. It's going to be Flero jumping out front with the 52 of Neubauer to the inside of Goldner.
Yeah, off the bat, these guys look like they're running a little bit cleaner than what the late model guys did. But of course, these tires are a little bit open, so a little bit more of a penalty if you do get into somebody here. We're still green as we go. We got trouble up front there. Oh, good save by Barry Goldner up there.
Goldner hangs on. He's still way up over the cushion there. Slides back down, gets back in his line. He's got the 52 and Neubauer all over him. The 513 of Jeffrey Barker making quick work. He's moved up from 5th to 2nd here early.
Yeah, early on here, Barker's on the bottom, and that looks like that's probably the quicker line of the two to get around here right now. The hasn't worn in that much, and the cushion still hasn't really come in up top yet.
Flaro's all alone up front. Behind him, it's just a gaggle of cars side by side throughout the field, including Barker and Vitale for second place. Vitale will slide up in front of Barker, and now Spangler's up there as well into the top 4.
Yeah, Spangler made a big jump right off the bat.
Spangler's someone we saw Sunday night here, and I'm surprised that he's here in this B main tonight, John.
Yeah, he's a wheelman. Like I said, a defending Renegades champion, and Renegades is our premier division in this league with the sprint cars. So he knows how to get it done here, and he's really making that modified work coming up through the field.
He's now moved into the 3rd position after starting 9th. Vitale's also up. He's up 5 spots up into 2nd, as behind him a heck of a battle between Barker, Spies, and Goldner for that 6th and final transfer spot.
Yeah, where have we seen this before? A gaggle of cars trying to go for that last position. Looks like we're going to see it again here in the modifieds, and right now it looks like Steven Spies is going to move into that spot.
Goldner is battling strong out on the outside. Boydell there in front of Spies, also Barker. 52 of Neubauer also trying to get back up in there to the top 6. As it's Flaro out front, 16 laps to go. He's got almost an 0.8 of a second lead over Vitale. Vitale's also started to separate from the rest of the group, but from Spangler on back, it is all tight, close racing throughout the field.
Yeah, it really is, and especially for that transfer spot. Steven Spies has it, and Neubauer and Goldner, they want it, and Spies has gotten a little bit of a breather between the two of these guys here, so maybe he can get one more to put in between them. That's going to give him kind of a little bit of a safe space to run in. But, man, those guys behind him, that battle for 7th, wow.
Oh, and they pinch off of turn number 2. They'll stay going straight. Heck of a save. I think Canellis had to jump out of it there for a minute, as did Roberts, as they were 3 wide for 7th, and Spies was up ahead trying to make a move on Barker, still trying to get by him to give him another spot between that transfer spot and move up into the top 5.
Yeah, every spot that you can put between them, that's that's big right now, as we're clicking laps off here pretty well. You're almost halfway through. We're actually past halfway through this race already.
Oh, and they'll go battle for 7th. We'll go around. I believe Ross may have gotten sideways at one point.
Yeah, it started with Barry Goldner getting a little sideways and then getting full-blown turned by the 52 Zach Neubauer, and that just stacked everybody up, and quite a few guys piled up into that.
We'll take a look at that instant replay. Goldner just too far sideways. Neubauer followed him, and nowhere for them to go behind him. But we were able to tick away a majority of the race. We'll have 10 laps to go when we go back to green with this Mission 22 restart, John. And Flaro loses his lead now back to the field.
Yeah, he does, but he's in. You know, you heard a few guys earlier that won the races. Hey, you know what? I'll battle a little bit here to keep this spot, but I'm not going to battle too hard because I'm in. That's the smart way to go here. If you're up front there and if someone really wants it that bad, man, I'd let them have it. You know what? I'll live to fight another day.
So they'll get lined back up 2 by 2. Jeff Flaro leading in that 200 machine. He's got Michael Vitale to his outside. Spangler inside row number 2 and Boydell outside row number 2. And you've got to think that battle for 6th is just going to continue to heat up, John, as the laps will get clicked away. We'll have 11 laps to go at the green flag here. Flaro will lead, but Spangler makes a move for 2nd.
Yeah, and right now we're getting into the stage, I think, where this track's going to start changing. We'll see if these guys start migrating up and checking out that top lane, which the 99 has. I think Roberts has now moved into it and taken it away from Spies.
99 got pinched up into the wall as they were 3 wide at the start-finish line. They'll keep it going straight. Roberts is now on the inside looking in, and Spies is that 7th car. Now back to 8th as Gilbert will move up into the 7th spot.
Yeah, that track, like I said, it's transitioning. That top is now coming in.
Spies searching. He'll stay to that middle line. Gilbert's now up top. Almost 3 wide at the line that time with Flaro, Spangler, and Vitale. And they're getting racy up for the lead again, John. We've seen this earlier.
Yes, they are, and I'll tell you, I'd want to be up top right now if I was in one of these cars. And but you see Spangler, man, he's not giving up on that bottom.
3 wide down the back stretch between Vitale, Flaro, and Spangler. Spangler down against the tires on the inside. See if he can make it stick as he clears them. Clears Flaro at the line. Vitale has the momentum to the outside, though.
And if I'm Flaro, I'm like, oh my God, come on, guys, we're in the show. What is this 3 wide stuff?
Well, they keep it 3 wide there, and you can't slow down because the cars behind you are ready to pounce as well.
Yeah, and that's why they're having to run so hard because, I mean, what are you going to do? Where are you going to slip in the line at and get in the line and run? There's nowhere to go. You might get freight trained on the top, so these guys have to battle really hard, and Spies has found his way back into the transfer spot.
He was able to get to the outside of Gilbert, which gave him that momentum and moved him into that top 6. Now Gilbert's up there as well as Boydell has fallen outside looking in, and now the front 3 have separated from their side-by-side battle, and now it looks like that battle for 6th is going to heat up with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, and then Joe Canellis is on the scene. I think he wants a part of that 6th place.
So Gilbert is the last car in. He's 3 wide for that spot with Canellis and Boydell. Boydell and Canellis make contact. They'll keep it going in 1 and 2. Their momentum slows, though, as the top 6 is able to break away from the rest of the field as the white flag waves.
Yeah, that's that big sigh you heard, I think, came out of that 76 machine.
So out front, it's Michael Vitale for the last time through 3 and 4. Up along the outside, he is going to win your B main. Spangler, Flaro, Roberts, Spies, and Gilbert will transfer to tomorrow's World Finals. Well, it did not disappoint, John, and it kept the excitement going right through as the first 2 did. So we go 3 for 3 with exciting finishes, not only for the lead, but also that 6th transfer spot.
Yeah, and and the guys that transferred in fighting for that, you saw how they battled. Well, what do you think's going to happen tomorrow when we're getting down to it and there's money on the line and a trophy and then all kinds of other stuff? Oh man, tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun.
So we will wait for our top 3 finishers to join us here in the booth. Michael Vitale, your winner here in the 358 modified division. And John, you'll kick us off. You've got our 3rd place finisher, Jeff Flaro.
Yes, Jeff, this is John. You have your microphone muted, but if you can hear me, unmute that thing and let me know you got me. Jeff, there you go. Hey, bud. Well, man, I tell you, that's got to be a load off your shoulders. And real quick, what was going through your mind late in the race? And I know you had to know you were 3 wide. What was on your mind right then and there?
Yeah, I didn't like it too much. I still had some space yet, and I shouldn't have been playing, but I got lucky.
Yeah, when I saw that, I thought Jeff was going, what are we doing here, man? We're all in. But, man, I tell you, you ran a good race. You're in. How much of a relief is that, from where you started the night, warming up there? I'm sure on your mind what you need to do. You knew you were in a good spot to transfer. Tell me the difference in emotion between then and now.
No, I was half the race. I had a good little cushion. I had no sweat, and then all of a sudden they were all coming.
Yeah, that caution. You didn't want to see that caution.
No. I was happy. I was having a little bit of a cushion to work with. And then again, when they were catching up, is how aggressive do I want to be? It's so easy to go around and go to the back.
Yes, and that I've asked guys all night about that too, about being in there and okay, how hard do you want to push this? And the hard part that I saw, and I don't know if you were aware, but were you aware of how close after that caution that I want to say maybe 7 or 8 cars were? So I mean, it wasn't even like getting turned and you go to the back. If you got hung out on the bottom or the top and maybe caught the wall, you were going to be out of a transfer spot. Could you sense that in the car?
Oh yeah. Well, that could have happened real quickly. I worry about that tomorrow in the sprint car with 50 laps.
Yeah, in that sprint car tomorrow, that track's gonna get real beat up and real rough on the top. So yeah, that's gonna be a neat thing tomorrow. Which car are you gonna do the driver intro? Which car are you gonna be in?
Well, I guess my only paint's on the sprint, so I guess I would be taking the sprint car. I don't drive the modified very often, and the late model I bought it 4 or 5 a week ago, I guess.
Well, man, I tell you. Well, I tell you, you're in 2 of the races then. Or did you make it in the late model?
No, I was up there for a second, but fell off.
So 2 of the races, various laps in the 2. But so what is going to be your strategy for tomorrow then?
Well, the sprint car one is to hang around. 50 laps is a lot in the sprint car, and that track's going to go through lots of changes. I'm just real content to be able to manage a top 6 tonight in the modified for how many races you guys know I have in it. But I was listening to you yesterday talking about the late model, and you made sense. I just got to work on it a little more.
Well, man, the gambler room is down there. You ever want to drive it and need anything, just you feel free to pop in there and ask questions, man. Any one of us will help you there and get you squared away because that's a pretty fun car to drive.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right, bud. Well, hey, congratulations again. We hope we get to talk to you again tomorrow. And who would you like to give a big shout out to for your transfer tonight?
Well, the wife for letting me do it on my birthday instead of going out with her.
Well, happy birthday, man.
And you guys for doing the broadcast, Roger, Preston, and all his team, all the great sponsors that we have, Glenn Stiers, Oshwegan Speedway, and I'm a happy camper to make it 2 out of 3.
Well, man, congratulations on that. And like I said, tomorrow night, long races, anything can happen. We hope we talk to you again, man.
Thank you, John. Thank you, guys.
Yep, take care. That's Jeff Flero. Man, what a race for him. He moves on to the final tomorrow in the 358s.
Now joining us, our second place finisher, Patrick Spangler. Patrick, you start back in 9th. Kind of walk us through your move to get up there into the top 6 and then into the top 3 here early in this race.
I don't run the modifieds too often, so I was listening to John for the broadcast. Said Vitaly's pretty good, and he was starting in front of me, so I figured I'd just stay behind him. I hooked the old tow hook up to his rear bumper and followed him to the front. And I got wiped out earlier this week on 2 slide jobs, so I was like, if I'm staying as low as I can to the tires, that way if I hit the tires, it's on me, it's not somebody else. So I didn't want anybody getting below me. Just trying. And then after that last restart, I saw Vitaly making it work on the high side, and Flero wasn't pulling him, so I know it might have went up to the high side. And then I saw Flero go up to the high side. I was like, I don't want to get stuck down here, so I had to hurry up to get up to the high side. Probably got a train around me, so happy to lock in though.
So coming into tonight, John and I were talking about how, the top 3, if they're able to get up there and separate themselves, just ride it out. You're in a transfer spot, play it safe. When you're up there in the top 3 going 3 wide lap after lap, what are you thinking at that point? As not only you guys are up there in the top 3 battling for position, but you have about 7 cars battling for the next 3 spots behind you.
Yeah, if I was running the middle or the top, I would have been pretty scared there for a little bit. I was on the very bottom, so I know if I just kept it down low, and I saw the mess of behind us, and I was like, all it takes is somebody to mess up, and there's 2 or 3 guys that can pounce on you and drive around you. If the top line comes in before I notice it, you can get past there too. So I didn't feel safe even running the bottom there in 2nd and 3rd because we were running so close, and the track was changing there right at the end of the race.
So tomorrow night you'll be in all 3 World Finals events. How will you approach that, especially with the length of the races that you'll have to be in all night?
Yeah, I don't know, that's a lot of racing in one night. The sprints, I'm pretty excited for, start on the front row there, but then the late models, I start deep in the pack, so trying to keep it clean. And same with the modifieds. Like I feel like in both those cars, I feel like once the top comes in, I can run them like almost like a sprint car then around the top, and it gets easier because like when it's tacky, I'm not very good in both these cars just because I don't run them that much. But if it slicks off towards the end, I think as long as it's not just a trainer on the top, I'll have a pretty good shot at going up a couple positions.
Well, you've had a great week. You're in all 3 races tomorrow, Patrick. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just Triangles Racing, the team we started not too long ago. Dad and Uncle back home watching. You guys were putting on the broadcast, and the 3 broadcasters putting them on all week. John Hine for helping you, Roger for running the thing, Dirt Track Bank for coming on as a big sponsor, and yeah, hopefully they talk to you tomorrow night.
Sounds good, Patrick. Congratulations on a 2nd place finish. That's your 2nd place finish for Patrick Spangler. Now in Coolray Victory Lane, joining John is your winner, Michael Vitale.
Yeah, Michael, this is John. You got a copy?
I got a copy, John. How you doing?
Well, man, I tell you, you parked in Victory Lane. That's the good news. The bad news is, well, there's not really any bad news, but you're going to be towards the back tomorrow in the bigger show. But first, before we get to the bigger show, this race, man, you guys racing pretty hard when you're already when you were locked in spots there. Walk me through the battle up there up front.
Well, I tell you, I was running the bottom and middle, and I figured I'd stay there most of the race, but that restart came out and put me on the outside. So I jumped on that outside wall, and usually not too comfortable up there, to be honest with you. But she stuck up there, and I said, okay, well, I'm going to wait to see if they come on my inside, so that see if this outside line's holding, and the line held, and that was some great racing. It really was. I enjoyed myself, and I'm glad Flero, he put a hell of a race on there. And Spangler coming through, and I think one of the biggest things I made was I left the broadcast on so I could hear all the action behind me. I couldn't see it, but I could hear it. And I was like, oh boy. So,
yeah, when you go back, if you go back and watch it, that battle behind you, and that was actually going to lead me to my next question, because we've asked everybody that was up there in that top 3, how aware were you? You answered the question about what was behind you. So the slightest mistake, you could have probably went from 1st or 2nd back to 7th or 8th.
Yeah, and that was something I wasn't looking to do. I had a couple of mishaps the first 2 qualifiers. But my main goal was just to qualify in. I was holding tight on that provisional, but I wanted to get in all 3, and I achieved that goal.
Well, congratulations on that. That is very cool and something to be very proud of. And well, let's shift gears real fast tomorrow. A lot of racing tomorrow for you. Then, if you're in all 3 of them, you're going to be turning a lot of laps in 3 cars that are vastly different from each other. What is your thoughts? What are your thoughts, and how are you approaching tomorrow? And are you going to eat your Wheaties in the morning?
Oh, definitely going to eat my Wheaties in the morning. It's basically more of a survival mode in the 360s than the pros. I don't usually run them. The car I struggled to get in, which is tonight, was the 358, which is my car of choice. And it's 100 laps is a long time, so I'm just going to coast in there for at least half the race and just kind of pull up some positions here and there and then go to town.
All right, man. Well, hey, we wish you the best of luck for tomorrow, and hopefully we get to talk to you again. Real quick, there's got to be people you want to give a shout out to, so the floor is yours, and make sure you thank them all.
Absolutely. First off, I want to thank my wife for letting me do this. She puts up with me and tolerates everything I do with this. Billy Roberts at Gears Unlimited for pushing me, coaching me, all the boys back at Murano Racing, everybody at Vitale Motorsports, you guys for putting this on, Joe Holter for always having my back with Got Your Six, another guy that always pushes me, and all these drivers out here, really giving me an opportunity to get where I'm at today by giving me those invites and giving me a lot of pointers throughout the season.
Well, we're glad to have you over here. You're a great competitor, and best of luck tomorrow, and best of luck with the rest of the season over in the big block modifieds there.
10-4. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. That's Michael Vitale, tonight's winner, and going to be a challenger, I think, 100 laps, no matter how far back he is. He's going to be a challenger tomorrow.
You've got to think Michael Vitale and our second place finisher Patrick Spangler will try to make their way in. If they ended up there battling for the win tomorrow night, that would not surprise anyone here from our crew, John. So with that, our B main night is done. All that is left is tomorrow night's World Finals. The Wing 360s kicks off right here on the Coast to Coast Racing League Network at 7 p.m. Don't miss out. Plenty of racing action tomorrow night, and it all comes to a close for the Dirt Track Bank World Finals. All proceeds benefiting Mission 22, all right here from the Dirt Track at Charlotte. As we shut down for the night, John, any thoughts on tonight or thoughts on tomorrow's World Final events?
Well, only thing I'm going to say is the drivers that are watching that are already locked in, looking at all the laps, if you're in all three of those classes, I think I would suggest an early bedtime tonight. Eat those Wheaties in the morning and hydrate through the day, almost like a real race car. Have to almost, like you would if you're going to go run a real race car. Make sure you're hydrated and get some rest and show up tomorrow and just have some fun. What a good cause, too. I mean, real quick, I'd be remiss, and I say this every night, if you're watching, you can chip in and give to the Mission 22 to help our veterans and whatnot. Just go to c2crl.com, and you can go to the World Finals thing, and you can go donate. It's where you would register, but you can register and just make the donation. It allows you to put a note in there. Just say, hey, this is just a donation, and every little bit goes to such a worthy cause to help really help the folks that allow us to live the lives that we lead and the freedoms that we have. And we all, everybody who takes a breath that's an American should, be thankful for them.
God bless the troops for sure, John. And with that, we will complete our coverage here for Wednesday night B mains of the Dirt Track Bank World Finals. Again, tomorrow's World Finals kick off with the Wings 360 sprints tomorrow at 7 p.m. Be here for some exciting racing action from Charlotte. For Travis Piercefield, and John Hine, thank you for tuning in tonight, and we will see you at a racetrack soon.
This copyrighted broadcast of Extreme eSpeed TV Network is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without express written consent of the Extreme eSpeed TV Network is strictly prohibited. We hope you've enjoyed this broadcast.